Hello, friends. Welcome back to Panel Showing Pick of the Week. We are episode number 96. I got the numbers wrong there for a while, so apologies for that. But we are back again. Sorry about last week. We missed last week. It was my fault. So apologies for that. But we will catch up this week. Have a big, long list and lots of books to talk about. This is where we read our stack of books every week, and then we come and we talk about them. And at the end of the episode, we have our pick of the week, our favorite book of the week. And we are also reading the Chris Claremont run of X-Men. We are currently on issue 119 and 120. These issues are available to read for free on Libby or on Hoopla. So if you'd like to read along with us, it is free to do. Just sign up for Libby or Hoopla. You just need a library card, and you have access to lots and lots of free stuff. So check that out if you'd like to read with us. We read 2 issues a week, and we'll continue through for a little bit longer. I think we're nearing the Dark Phoenix saga, so I mean, you can't really stop before you get to that. So get to that. But here at Jared. Jared, how's it going?
It's going good, thank you. Yeah, it's we have a big list today, a couple of weeks worth of books here.
Yeah. I was trying to catch up on some reading, but just didn't have a chance. So yeah, but even still, it was a long list. So for our topic this week, you had an idea for a topic, and I'll let you take it away.
Yeah. So last week, sometime I think it was, comic book writer Peter David passed away, and I just wanted to kind of reflect upon some of the works that I had read of his. He was very prolific throughout the late 80s, 90s, 2000s, and beyond. And he's won an Eisner Award. He's won a couple of other the industry awards and stuff like that. And he was his biggest claim to fame, I think, was a very long run. I think it was like 12-year run on the Incredible Hulk.
Hmm.
And he is the one who kind of solidified the idea of the Incredible Hulk really being um, having mental health issues, basically being a multiple personality disorder. And he was the one who had Bruce Banner and the Hulk being personalities who come to an agreement. And he basically created the Smart Hulk. And that idea, of course, has been taken and run with in many various ways over the years. And he worked with some great artists on that run. I really like that. Was like my Hulk was one of my favorite titles during the time that he was writing it, and he worked with people like Dale Keown, Todd McFarlane, um, Gary Frank, and so on. And so that was a really great run. He had a spectacular run on X Factor. With featuring Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man, and he also had some good super DC stuff too. He actually did a really great run on Supergirl with Gary Frank, and he had some creator-owned stuff too. So usually his stuff was really solid and always a good read. I mean, like his run on Hulk, I would actually consider probably the best one, and would be something that I would consider as like a read along on here. If we want to do something else besides the Claremont stuff on X-Men. So really, really great stuff, and just wanted to give a shout out to him for all the great comics he's written over the years.
Is there a certain run that you'd recommend someone who hasn't or is not familiar with him to check out?
I loved his X Factor stuff. His character take on Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man, was just fantastic. It really made that character into its own. He wasn't just this side character in the X-Men universe. He really brought him to the fore and like I said, made it his own, and really fantastic work. on his X Factor run, um, and of course his Hulk run. But he also had some. He had a. I'm trying to think of it now. He had a self-published title
Hmm.
or a creator-owned title that was called Fallen Angel, I believe it was called,
Oh
and
yeah, it sounds familiar.
that I think it was originally published through DC, but then he had some problems with the editor, and it was his property. So then he moved it over to IDW eventually as well. Um, so he's he dipped his toe in the creator own toolbox. Um, but he also was famous for Spider-Man 2099. He invented that,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
and he actually that was my probably my favorite of the 2099 run when it initially came out back then. And I wasn't even a Spider-Man fan. Made me want to read Spider-Man, even though it was a different year. But that was good stuff. And I think he also had some stints in TV. He worked on Babylon 5 with Straczynski way back when that show was on. He also worked on a few kids shows on Nickelodeon as well.
Hmm.
I think that Ben 10 show or something like that. Um,
Oh yeah.
so he had a pretty good writing career.
Hmm. Wow. Yeah, it's sad to lose creatives like that. So it's definitely someone to check out if you're not familiar. I remember 2099 and there's a few titles that I don't remember too much about them. It was back in like the 90s, like mid 90s, I
Yeah,
think. But yeah, it's
yeah, mid
some
'90s, late
nostalgia
'90s,
there.
early 2000s. Yeah.
Oh. All that said, we'll jump into it. We have a long list this week. I'll kick it off with a book that I really like, that I really like the original run of, which is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. It was a kind of a like a children's book, like the animals are people, and it was this. The art was like it looked like a children's book, and it was about a bear named Sam who was a serial killer, and she would go and to neighboring towns and kill people, and she hid in plain sight in the town that she was in. She lived in like a little sleepy town, and someone tried to copy what she was doing and come to her town, and that was the first run. All that happens in that first one. Uh, this one is a little different with the Rite of Spring. It's fun to see a different perspective, and in this book in this series, it's about one of the victims of Sam, one of a sister of one of her victims. So the sister is searching for her brother who disappears, and she's tirelessly searching for to find out what happened to him. He's a duck who just disappears, and she somebody anonymously gives her a tip and sends her down the rabbit hole, and it's completely different perspective on the story we heard before. I'm not really sure if this is a prequel or sequel, but um, it's great to have the different perspective, seeing the story from a different side and knowing the danger that Sam, obviously very dangerous, she's a serial killer. So yeah, it really drew me in. I think I'm so glad we're back in this world with these characters, and I just love this series. If you, it's made by Patrick Horvath, and I believe he's a one man show. He does it all. He does the art and the writing on it. So it's just really really fun. This is another one that all the books I think I read this week were pretty solid. This is definitely one on the top of the list that almost made my pick. So definitely something to check out.
Yeah. Cool. And who puts that out? That's a company or?
That is, well, I think the last one was Mad Cave. I believe it was Mad Cave, but this one is a imprint called LD. I'm not sure if it's
Oh,
a self public or like like an indie publishing, or if it's Patrick Horvath, created his own imprint or what. But
yeah.
yeah, it's wasn't the same as before, and I'll find in my notes who who the last one was, but yeah, it was a different publisher.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Um, well, for my first book here, I'm going to be tapping into the Robert E. Howard vibe a lot this week. My first book on tap here is Conan the Barbarian number 22. It is continuing the story called Diamond in the Dirt. This is part two, so it continues on from last issue with new artists, Fernando Dagnino, and yeah, it's good stuff. The the story in here has Conan in kind of this like gladiatorial situation. So that's always fun to see him overcome those kind of things, and there's various reasons why he's there that you can't get into without spoiling it. But um, the artwork's solid. The story's pretty cool. Jim Zub is the writer. He's done better in this run, this long run of Conan. But this one's solid. It's right up there. It's got really cool situations, artwork, interesting villains, and it's just I'm like quite very happy with this run of with Titan Comics take on Conan. I think it's very respectful of the some of the source material, and but also very respectful of the original Roy Thomas Marvel Comics run. They even have very similar lettering style just to reflect those old Marvel comics that used to come out back in the day. And so I anybody who's a fan of Conan should be a fan of these comics. If you've been a fan of the old comics, um, there's always sticklers who say Howard or nothing, but
Yeah.
but uh, so staying with the Howard vein, I also read Solomon Kane number 4, the fourth and final installment in the Serpent Ring saga, written and drawn by Patrick Zurcher, and he finished off this tale with a bang. It was epic. It was everything you would want to be for an ending in a comic. This one was bordering on my pick of the week as well. It's done so well. I love what Zurcher's done with the character. I love the new side characters he introduced, and really fleshed out pretty well. I thought it was just all around great book. The artwork's great. The story is really cool, and excellent ending. Excellent ending to a 4-issue series. Um, we'll see if he continues on. I hope they keep Zurcher involved in on board if they do more of this, because this has been my favorite take of Solomon Kane throughout comics history.
Wow.
Yeah.
High praise. Wow. Yeah. So, well, the next one for me is Buried Long, Long Ago, number 3. This is a horror book by Mad Cave. And this book continues to creep me out. I think horror is hard to do in it can be hard to do in comics. I think it takes a certain kind of, at least for me anyway, humor and horror are tough to pull off. But this is one of the books that really does it. Visually, it's not gory. Well, it does have its gory moments, but they were used sparingly and they used it effectively. So when it is when it they do have when it does get on the gory side, it's all done kind of at the right times and for the right reasons, and just enough to make you uncomfortable, but not enough to be gratuitous. So we start to learn more about the kind of the supporting characters around this family and the people that live in the area and what they know or don't know about what's going on with their mom. These kids are living with their mom, and their mom is obviously something is wrong with wrong with her, and she's killing people and doing lots of strange things. And it's just the visually, it's creepy. The story's creepy. Has a good pace to it. It's just it's one of the better horror books I've read in a while. And yeah, this book is just continuing to keep its quality for the entire run as far as the first three books go anyway. So hopefully it'll maintain the quality and keep it going, because a lot of these books start off strong and then they kind of fizzle out. But so far, it doesn't have any signs of slowing down.
Cool.
Yeah. So Absolute
Ready to
Superman,
talk
number
about?
9. One for both. Yeah.
Yeah, Absolute
What are
Superman
your
number
thoughts on
9.
this one?
Uh, it continuing a solid story. Um, like nothing in this issue particularly stood out as like a wow factor or anything like that, but also nothing disappointed me either. It was just a continuation of something that's ongoing, like you want in an ongoing series, where you want it to just stay good, consistent, and just evolve the story as it goes. And it did its job. I'm still pleased with this book. I still want to get the next issue and want to see what happens next. And I like the little touches that Jason Aaron's thrown in there to make this completely different from any other Superman we've read before. And I hope he's able to keep it up. It's been a very entertaining read.
Yeah, I agree. The artwork is solid.
Yeah,
The story, like you said, there's not it wasn't a an issue that had any really big surprises or anything really that stood out. It was just good. It was just solid. I like the introduction to Kryptonite, and the Lois Lane stuff is okay, but it hasn't quite pulled me in just yet. But it's still not bad. And it's nice seeing Superman be vulnerable, and he still has, they're still introducing those aspects of the story where he is kind of trying to, keep his composure. He's trying to control his abilities and kind of not go overboard or not, go down the wrong path. And I think that conflict, because Superman a lot of the time is just always kind of very sure of himself and he's there's not a whole lot of conflict internally. But it's nice seeing the conflict, especially somebody so powerful that that kind of back and forth with he's struggling a little bit with his past and the things that he's been through to make him a little angry and bitter and still not overreact or
yeah,
resort to too much violence.
yeah. We'll see how that goes. He's definitely being challenged and in strange ways, and I like the little. There was a little touch of some other, you know, introduction of some other technology that is hinted at from the rest of the DC universe, and that I just like how they did it.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
I think it's still the best absolute book. I
Sure.
don't I don't know if it's even close. I know that a lot of people love Absolute Batman. It's just too goofy for me. It's too over the top. But yeah, I think Green Lantern is okay. The Flash is okay, but I think Absolute Superman, to my surprise, is I think the best part of
Nice.
this absolute book.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I got Planet Death #1 from Bad Idea Comics, and kind of interested why you would call your company a bad idea, but uh, the I picked this up because it's from the creator of John Wick, and I was like,
Mm,
oh, okay, I'll check it out. And it also has artwork by Tomas Giarello, I think his name is, and he used to draw Conan for Dark Horse Comics when Dark
mm,
Horse had the license, and he did a great job. Really great artwork, and so I wanted to see his artwork in here in a sci-fi setting, and yeah, it's really cool. Um, Unfortunately, the story was kind of written like John Wick. Nothing much
Hmm.
going on. Then a bunch of people shooting each other, and you know, somebody having a flashback to their home, and yeah, a lot of big explosions, a lot of big gun battle, a lot of action, drawn very well, but not much to it.
Oh
it
man.
it for the price tag that this thing had, I read it literally under 5 minutes easily, if not faster. And yeah, it's like a $6 book. Yeah, uh, but it sure does look pretty, and 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 you get a big, huge chunk of this book that's a bunch of previews for other
Hmm.
stuff, for their other titles, and they look pretty cool. I might check some of them out, depending on. They got some big names here: Matt
Oh.
Kint and Mike Carey, and um, so we'll see. Uh, but I don't know. I might check out the second one just to see if it delves a bit more into character and stuff like that, and rather than just being all action. Maybe this was just an attention getter issue, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Hmm. Oh, that's one thing with the John Wick movies. There's some, I guess you could say, entertainment value to watching John Wick just shoot people in the face and get revenge or whatever. But after a while, it just kind of gets you know it's a little tired. So curious to see what they do with Planet Death. I'll have to check that out for a 5 minute read, $1 a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah. You could have easily squeezed this in as another read today if you needed to.
Yeah.
So I also read from our friends at Distillery Comics, Spectrograph numbers 3 and 4. I finished off the series, and I had to say, like, I think when I read number 2, that was like my pick of the week.
Mm.
It was a great start to a series, and I had to say this series finished off spectacularly as well. It really was a satisfying ending. Um, I don't want to spoil too much of it, so I won't get into uh, into it too much here. But it does raise some really cool questions about our personalities and the existence of personality,
Mm.
and how messages are kind of echoes like ghosts, and just the nature of what a ghost could be, or what that is an impression of, and so
Mm.
I really, they kind of delved into that. Number 3 had some flashbacks in it that had some deeper characterization. Some of it I was a little bit wondering if it was necessary in number 3, but then it all just comes out and unfolds in number 4, and they really did a great job of finishing it off. So I highly recommend the series. It was a really, really great read.
Wow. Yeah. More spectrograph later in this episode.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. So speaking of distillery, I got to life number 5 this week, and this is kind of a. I don't say too much because I do like the surprise in this series,
Mhm.
the way that it's set up. But it's about a prison planet, and it could have some riches, and there's a kind of a group of pirates, space pirates that are wanting to do one last run, one last hurrah, and they arrive at this planet, and things do not go as they plan. And the setup, the reasons why they didn't go as planned, I just really I love the kind of the setup of why it didn't go as planned.
Yeah.
So really great. I really like this series. It's continuing to grow. I don't know how it's gonna, because this is uh, there's one more issue to go. I'm not sure how it's gonna wrap up, and we're still getting flashbacks from both sides of the pirates and the people on the planet. So I'm not. It seems like there's some runway. I hope it finishes off strong. But yeah, really another good issue. Really like the colors and the visuals, the artwork. Yeah, I mean, I the only complaint I have is that I wish the characters were a little bit more fleshed out, but because sometimes it's hard to tell who's who. But
Mm,
I mean, really good book, and I have my fingers crossed it will finish off strong.
yeah, me too. Yep. Uh, yeah. So continuing on with my Howard stuff this week, I have Savage Sword of Conan number 9, and this was also almost a pick of the week. It was really cool. What was interesting was the main story in here, which is all in black and white and is a good solid 50 pages. Um, is a story about Conan and Valeria, she of the red nails, story from Howard. This story takes place right after Red Nails, a short story, and um, is written and drawn by Patrick Zurcher,
Oh,
who I just saw in Solomon Kane.
hmm.
Um, so it was really cool to see his artwork in a Conan story with those two characters right after that short story, and he continues to stun me with his artwork. It's just gorgeous, and it's just, I'm
Oh
showing
wow.
Steve
Yeah.
now, but it's just fantastic, black and white pencils, and it's just pencil and ink, and it's just really nice, really great to look at. And the story was pretty cool too. He continues the tale on, and then they get into some new adventures, and there's some interesting characterization in there. Um, there's there's one or two moments where I was just kind of like, that's quite not quite Howard, but it was. But overall, it was a lot of fun, and there's a lot of story. You really get your bang for your buck with these things, with this Savage Sword magazine and magazine size, beautiful stuff. There was a backup story in here, a short little 7-page thing by Fabian Nikizia, who wrote X-Men for many years, and
Hmm.
artist Sean Chen, which was a King Kull story, and that was pretty cool too. Uh, One of those nice little short stories that have that aha moment in them. So overall, very solid issue. Standalone, you don't have to have read anything else. It would add to the enjoyment of the story if you were familiar with the story Red Nails by Robert Howard,
Hmm.
um, but overall, I don't think that's required, and you can pick up this issue and just enjoy it. And Patrick Zurcher's artwork, it's fantastic.
Well, hmm. Yeah, you weren't kidding about the Conan kick today.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's good stuff.
they all come in at the same time for some reason.
Yeah. You figure they'd spread them out a little bit, but yeah, good stuff. So the last one for me before we get to pick of the week is Wild Animals number 1. It's by Mad Cave. This is a story about a young man who was trying to kind of make ends meet, and he lives with his dying mother, and he's struggling to deal with her past. To not give too much away, his dad was a police officer who was killed by other cops because he reported them. He was, quote unquote, the good cop. And when the bad cops found out that he was the snitch, they came and killed him. So the story goes from there, and it feels like there's a lot more to the story than obviously what we're getting in the first issue. Now the, he's like a younger man. He's like probably early 20s, late teens. He tries to kind of start his own life and starts to unravel the story of his past that he's not familiar with, and what happened to his father and all that stuff. So it's kind of a reminds me a little bit of like a falling down kind of story where someone just kind of snaps and it just kind of goes off the deep end. So
Hmm.
I'm a little I'm a little iffy on this one, but I'll probably pick up the next one just to see where it goes. It didn't blow me away, but it was enough to bring me back for issue number two.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, pick of the week.
Yes, indeed, is that time for the picks or pick of the week. And you have one that we've talked about before this
Yeah.
series. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I bet you people must be wondering what could top all that we just read, but
I know I am.
it was a tough decision. Um, so yes, my pick of the week is Assassin's Apprentice 3, number 6. It is the final issue in the Assassin's Apprentice adaptation from Robin Hobb's novel. And I really wanted, because these issues have been fantastic throughout the whole run, but I really wanted to give a shout out to this final issue because they really captured the tone and essence of the novel, in especially in that, like, the final page of this comic was as touching and heartrending as one could make, as one had come to expect from Robin Hobb. If you ever heard of her writings, that's the big thing about her writing, is that she's gonna make you cry. And
I've read that a
so
lot. Yeah.
yeah, and so this comic did the trick. It really was so well done that it just captured that moment, and I really appreciated that because I read this first, and then I read the corresponding prose in the book.
Hmm.
And the way that these guys captured that book is just bar none incredible. It's one of the best adaptations I've ever read, and it really had the same impact. Uh, and so, and plus, you get beautiful artwork to go with it, and you can't ask for more than that. It's illustrated by Ryan Kelly, and it's adapted by Jody Hauser, and with spectacular coloring by Jordi Belair. Top, like, fantastic, probably the best colorist in the business, and
Hmm.
so it really hit, it really hit the mark. It really did the job, and the series is over now. So I wanted to give it the praise it deserves, and give it my pick of the week in a tough week to pick one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I just realized we haven't used the trombone at all. The whole episode has been
Yeah,
solid books. Yeah,
not bad.
no trombone this week. All been all good stuff. Yeah, it's so what you're saying is that someone who hasn't read Assassin's Apprentice can just read the graphic novel and save themselves thousands of pages of text.
Yeah, yeah. If and you won't save yourself any money though.
That's true. Yeah, you save yourself a lot of time, but not a lot of
Yeah,
money.
um, yeah. Oh, they do use a lot of her text, so
Hmm.
yeah, you'd it would still take you some time, but not as long as a novel. Yeah.
Hmm. I need to check that out now that it's finished. Yeah, definitely. Really good stuff. And I've heard that a lot of people who read Robin Hobb end up crying and get like emotionally damaged.
Yeah, that is the reputation that she
Yeah.
has.
All right. So this week, my pick of the week that, when I try to give it some time after I read my books to kind of let things simmer and kind of reflect back. And this was just the one that just kind of stuck with me, but is Spectrograph number one by Distillery Comics. I'm a little late to the party in this one. I was trying to catch up on it. And so kind of just piggybacking on what you had mentioned about the previous issues last episode and then today 3 and 4. So far for me, I kind of see this as a horror story with some drama, and it's about a house, and it reminded me a lot of House of Leaves, kind of the setup
Mm.
of the house that is not quite what it seems, and lots of creepy stuff going on. This I really like the artwork and the visuals and the disorient. You feel disoriented a lot in the book, and I think that obviously that's on purpose because of the characters that are in the house. And not only is it a story about people in a house that is obviously a lot more than a house. There's also another aspect of the story that really kind of gets the clock ticking on the people in the house, and you immediately feel like you're in a hurry for this character to get back to something. And when as things escalate in the house, you not only have the house, but you have this other situation one of the characters is dealing with, and they have to get back to it. And I don't think things are as what they seem. So I do think there's some kind of things aren't quite as black and white as it seems just yet. But we'll find out more about that. But yeah, so you have this clock ticking, adding to the tension and adding to the kind of feel uncomfortable when you read it because you know that there's other things happening in the background. So yeah, really good issue, and I'm bummed I didn't get to this sooner to kind of keep up with it. But yeah, really good start to the series. The other really good week. With Beneath the Trees and Buried Long Ago, Life. All of them are really good. So, but this is the one that just kind of stood out for me. So, Spectrograph number one, it's Story
Yeah.
Comics.
Worst mom in the world.
Yes, not she won't be winning any awards anytime soon. Yeah, definitely. And with the artwork, there's some close-ups of people, kind of like other faces, other facial expressions, and it just kind of I just love the way that the visually it makes you feel creeped out,
Yeah.
like there's a lot more going on. So yeah,
Yeah.
really good execution on this one, especially for this type of story. Yeah. So this week we will be discussing X Men issues 119 and 120 by Chris Claremont. And yeah, other. It's funny going back and reading these issues, seeing things like Weapon X and
Mm.
kind of Wolverine and his history, and now that is so well known, seeing kind of where some of these ideas germinated from is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all starting to come together and slowly make sense.
Mhm.
the they had they had a big battle at the beginning of the first one, 119, and then they had some downtime.
They
And
always have some kind of downtime, don't they? They always have like a pizza party after other big battles.
yeah, got to relax after facing down the villain of the week,
Yeah, you got to have some, a little rest and relaxation.
Yeah, yeah, and they were really dragging out this. He was really dragging out this. The X Men are dead. The drama with Jean Grey and all that stuff, and even though it you have a character there that knows she's not dead, but it just like hasn't come up.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah. By the way,
yeah, right. I find that amusing. Yeah,
it's funny because it has kind of these serious themes, and then it has these kind of goofy moments, like like the downtime, and they aren't able to get a message to Jean and to Professor X that they're not dead. But
yeah,
yeah, you do feel like this is, I think this is done intentionally for the Wolverine stuff. I don't know if they planned or how far ahead they planned the Wolverine background stuff, but all this stuff is a major part of his backstory.
yeah. It really is. I mean, not only the his relationship with was it Yuriko? Was it
Is it Mariko?
Mariko? Yeah, um, and how how he, like, this is the first time we actually get his name,
Yeah,
Logan, because it was
that's
hinted
right.
at, like he was about to say it in the previous issues, but then it never. He got interrupted, battles happen, and then
Yeah.
and then and finally, like during that, this little touching moment, he says, "My name is Logan," and so that's like the first time we ever get it. Because whenever he was asked by the other X-Men previously, he would be like, "None of your business, bub," and
Yeah. Bub.
so that was a a reveal, I guess. If you were following this comic monthly, you would probably be like, "Oh, finally, I know his name,"
Pretty big deal.
and yeah. Um, yeah, and then like you said, the Weapon X stuff. Um, when they get back to North America, that's when the big Maple Leaf dude
A, ma-
decides to
a Maple
make
Leaf
his
dude.
move.
Yeah.
And is it me, or is he portraying the Prime Minister of Canada as like an evil guy?
It did seem kind of like an evil thing, and it's funny seeing like chaos in Canada,
Yeah,
and it just because when I think yeah, it just seems it just kind of goofy, but yeah, it seemed a little evil on the evil side.
I was like, damn, I never seen a Prime Minister of Canada be portrayed in such a manner before.
I wonder who the prime minister was during this time, if there was or
I don't remember. Yeah,
Theo Hoser.
yeah, that was funny. Yeah, yeah, and then they had this kind of protracted cat and mouse battle
Mhm.
in Calgary. That's where it was. They were in
Yeah,
Calgary, and um, with the members of Alpha Flight there. Um, so, and we get our usual cliffhanger. So that's
yeah.
always fun.
Maple Leaf guy, Vindicator. I was thinking another name, but yeah, Vindicator.
Yeah,
Yeah, John Burns art. I know we say this every time. Holy
yeah,
shit, John Burns artwork is so good,
I know. It's like, how many times can we reiterate that? But it just is.
so good, so good. I do think when they come for Wolverine, and I think it's the first time that we see Wolverine, or like one of the first times we see Wolverine, at least in the moment, kind of if you want me, you can take me, but leave them. It's not their battle. He kind of sacrifices himself and feels like he's part of the team. He's always been a kind of a reluctant,
Yeah,
kind of on the one foot out the door kind of thing. And so seeing that and seeing him feel like he's part of the team, and they feel like he's part of the team, but they're willing to go out of their way to protect him and to rescue him. I think it's a little bit of a change too.
yeah, yeah. Was that? I mean, I think he's giving us some character growth.
Mhm.
And so that's cool.
Yeah, I do feel like this is dragging out a little bit though, and I wonder, like you said, it's the are they or aren't they dead thing. So
Yeah, that's going on a bit long.
yeah, it's. I think maybe it's long for us because we're so used to being able to contact anyone around the world at any moment we
True.
wanted to, and we're going back to this time where they couldn't. So maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, true. It was the '70s. Professor X is out in space, so he can't do anything
Oh,
about it.
yeah, he's cruising in space,
Yeah, so he's having a good time.
enjoy, enjoying the sights.
Fun
So,
stuff.
yeah, it was good. I mean, the artwork alone is enough reason to read it. It's just so good.
Yeah,
I love his artwork. So
yeah. It's
nice.
it's pleasant because I kind of, it's one of those things where you forgot how good he was
Mhm.
because it's been a long time since since he's done anything.
Yeah.
But
Is he still working, or he's
I
retired now? Right.
I think he's retired. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure of his status, but
Hmm. I wonder. Yeah, really. The art, like I said, the artwork alone. I love when Wolverine's on the plane when they get back on the plane and he's just kind of hanging out and well, what are you doing here? And don't worry about it. We'll worry about it tomorrow. Like, yeah, I'm fine for now. We'll deal with it later. Let's go home. It's
yeah,
just okay. It has kind of that little bit of a soft edge to it that doesn't. it doesn't take itself too seriously. It just kind of, you just kind of have to go with it sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So next week we'll be reading 121 and 122. If you'd like to read along with us, like I said, it's free to read on Hoopla or Libby. So try and check it out and come along for the ride. A big, lots of books this week. And Jared, where can people find you?
Yeah, a great week. And you can find me at the Fantasy Thinker YouTube channel. You can find me on the Speculative Speculation podcast and the Oscar Project, Film Chewing, and some other fine podcasts on pagechewing.com.
Yes, be sure and check that out. And you can find me on pagechewing.com. And like I said, come along for the ride with us if you have any suggestions for us. After we finish the X-Men run, which will take us a little bit long, a little bit longer. If you have any suggestions for things that are available on Hoopla or Libby, we're all ears. If you have any suggestions for us, stuff we should be reading, or if we're just completely wrong about the books we talk about, let us know. Love to chat about it. That does happen. We can disagree and still be friends. So it's okay. Yeah. So thanks everyone for listening, and thanks for your patience last week. To skip last week, but we are back in the saddle. So we will talk to everyone very soon, and we hope you find your pick of the week.
Bye bye.